will have some answers when Prime Minister Modi addresses India for the 5th time this lockdown season in just 3 hours from now. These are the big questions on everyone's mind, and these are the questions going across 1 billion people in this country. What will Prime Minister Modi announce tonight? It's going to be his 5th address to the nation. Question number 2. Will Prime Minister Modi extend this lockdown and announce Lockdown 4.0, which is after May the 17th? Question number 3. If the lockdown is extended, will Prime Minister Modi reveal the specific changes that will kick into action post the 17th of May? Question number 4. With the green zones drastically reducing and the red zones drastically increasing in the country, could some of the earlier relaxations be rolled back and cancelled? That doesn't sound good, but it's a possibility. Question number 5. Will Modi tell you what happens after the 17th of May in terms of how your life is going to change, or whether he has any more expectations from you? Question number 6. Will Modi share his plan on the migrant crisis? Great onus on the millions of Indian migrants who've been out there. Will Prime Minister Modi dedicate a part of his speech or a large part of his speech to the migrant crisis? Now remember, this is Prime Minister Modi's 5th address to the nation since the lockdown began in March. Let's listen into the key excerpts just to refresh and remind you of what the Prime Minister has said in his last 4 addresses to the nation during the COVID crisis.
सुबह 7 बजे से रात 9 बजे तक सभी देशवासियों को जनता कर्फ्यू का पालन करना है। अभी के हालात को देखते हुए देश में ये लॉकडाउन 21 दिन का होगा, 3 सप्ताह का होगा। चारों तरफ जब हर व्यक्ति एक एक दिया जलाएगा, तब प्रकाश की उस महाशक्ति का एहसास होगा जिसमें एक ही मकसद से हम सब लड़ रहे हैं, ये उजागर होगा। भारत में लॉकडाउन को अब 3 मई तक और बढ़ाना पड़ेगा।
Right across his 4 speeches so far, the Prime Minister has come up with catchphrases which define what he believes is his thrust as far as the lockdown is concerned. As we build up to the big 5th Modi speech coming up at 8 p.m. today, we've also broken down the Prime Minister's past addresses. He's given a few catchphrases as he detailed India's plans to combat the coronavirus. In his second address to the nation on the 24th of March, the Prime Minister's one big message was Jaan hai, Jahan hai, which means if there's a life, there's a world. Then, on his virtual meeting with chief ministers, he gave the slogan of Jaan bhi, Jahan bhi, which means the focus of India's fight against coronavirus had to be on both saving lives as well as livelihoods. Next came the message on social distancing. Do gaz ki duri, or 2-meter distance, was the mantra from Modi for fighting COVID-19. And yesterday in his meeting with the chief ministers, Prime Minister Modi stressed on his 4th big catchphrase, Jan se jag tak, implying one had to care for all, from the people to the world.
स्थानीय प्रशासन के दिशा निर्देशों का पालन करते हुए कोरोना के खिलाफ चल रही इस लड़ाई को हम और मजबूत करेंगे। सड़कों पर, बाजारों में, मोहल्लों में फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग के नियमों का पालन अभी बहुत आवश्यक है। मैं आज उन सभी कम्युनिटी लीडर्स के प्रति भी आभार प्रकट करता हूं जो 2 गज दूरी और घर से बाहर नहीं निकलने को लेकर लोगों को जागरूक कर रहे हैं। ये समय कदम कदम पर संयम बरतने का है। आपको याद रखना है, जान है तो जहान है।
Over the next 60 minutes, we're going to have all of our reporters who are plugged into the government system to get you the very latest on what's going to be expected. So here on India Today, you will have the latest information. Our national affairs editor Rahul Srivastav is with us from Delhi. Poulomi Saha also reporting on the BJP and the government from Delhi. Sahil Joshi will be joining us in just a moment from Mumbai, and Gopi Krishnan Unithan will be live with us from Kerala. Rahul, quickly coming to you first, any major indications of what the Prime Minister's speech is going to be about? Is it going to be dedicated to migrants? Is it going to be about what happens after the 17th of May? Are there going to be any specifics, Rahul?
Shiv, if you look at the Prime Minister, what he said in the meeting with the Chief Ministers, there is one standout line, which I think, in which he said that our challenge is basically to contain the transmission and also bring back revival in terms of economic and other activities. And I think in that, one standout issue will be how the states can be empowered from here on. He had said in the meeting one interesting line, that lockdown 2 was not the same as lockdown 1, lockdown 3 not as lockdown 2, and lockdown next will not be the same as lockdown 3. Now that perhaps underlines what exactly is going to be the roadmap ahead, with a lot of chief ministers not unanimous over there should be extension of lockdown. And on the other hand, most of the states clamoring for the fact that they should be empowered on what exactly should be the demarcation between red, green and orange, and also which areas need to be earmarked as these kind of zones.
Yes.
I think eventually there is a picture emerging where the states may be doing a lot. There might be greater focus on containment zones. And one inkling which I got is that if you see that Gujarat chief ministers and Madhya Pradesh chief minister and BJP ruled states saying that there needs to be easing of curbs,
yes,
they wouldn't have done it without consulting their party bosses.
That's true.
Now in that scenario, with the BJP ruled states also talking about easing of the curbs, what we can say is that there is going to be an announcement of lesser curbs, easing of curbs with very tough protocols,
yes,
social distancing protocols, and containment areas seeing a renewed vigorous effort to ensure that the transmission does not spread.
Okay, before I go to my other reporters, and remember, in some of the past speeches by the Prime Minister, it's been largely a message to the nation, but no specifics have been given out. Those have come out through, press releases from the Home Ministry or announcements at the state level. The Prime Minister so far has largely stayed away from providing too many specifics in his speech. It's more in terms of mood setting with one large message. Before I go to my reporters, and we've got ground reports from the 6 metros in terms of what the 6 metros are wishing for from the Prime Minister from 8 p.m. I want to see if there are any indications we can pick up, and you can join me on this, viewer, from what the Prime Minister said yesterday in his interaction with the Chief Ministers. I want to recount for you what the big message from the Prime Minister was, and let's see if any of these echo in his speech at 8 p.m. One, he said it again, "Do gaj ki duri is of paramount importance," said the Prime Minister yesterday. Then he said, "Be ready for a new post-COVID world." Is that an indication that some relaxations are coming up ahead with economic activities? Ensure COVID does not spread to rural areas. Huge message, especially because India's green zone number has gone down drastically in a very disturbing way. COVID fight has to be more focused now because India's lockdown has not meant a containment in the numbers. Economic activities will gather steam in the coming days. That is something he will most definitely be touching upon. Prepare for monsoon to control the surge in infections. That's a big concern that the Prime Minister voiced yesterday. And global recognition of India's efforts. Stay the course. So the Prime Minister is likely to touch upon all of these topics and also rally his troops. He says India has been praised from experts across the world. Now I want to show you what India's 6 metros have on their wish list. Chief ministers from all the states of the country had a chance to speak to the Prime Minister yesterday. Here's our ground report from India's 6 metropolitan cities on what these cities are expecting.
Karnataka believes that it has been able to keep the numbers relatively low because of following the 4T principle of trace, track, test and treat. Now the government has decided to do away with district-wise orange, green and red zones. There will now be only containment zones and a buffer zone of about 100 to 150 meters around it. commercial activities and also public transport will be allowed in non-containment zones. And finally, the government has set up a 15-member investment promotion task force in order to woo businesses and tap MNCs exiting from China. With video journalist Madhuwar, Nolan Pinto for India Today.
You can see the traffic has increased as well. However, authorities have told the people that Chennai is still a red zone, 690 containment zones in Chennai alone, and over 4,300 COVID-19 cases reported until now. So people have been requested to come out only if necessary. Yesterday in the video conference with the Prime Minister, Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy also requested that flight and trade services not be resumed from Chennai just yet. However, from Chennai to Delhi, there's a bi-weekly train that goes on Friday and on Sunday, and several people are waiting to leave Tamil Nadu as of now.
For the government of West Bengal, they made it amply clear that they would be considering and should be allowed to consider what suits the state, giving the field capabilities of every state. In no way this should be a burden to any state in days to come also. The burden already of more than 1.5 months has come on the states, which is very difficult to cope up with now, with economic activities dipping and several other reasons for everyone in the country to believe that the lockdown 4 might have many more contagious issues to stay. But what is important presently is the situation that the state and the centre is handling and of course fighting over too. With camera person Tapas Berry, this is Manogya Loiwal in Howrah for India Today.
Telangana has already extended lockdown till the end of May. And yet again, during video conferencing with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao expressed and requested centre to further extend lockdown across country. Chief Minister also expressed and suggested, in fact, to centre that this is not the right time to resume train services, since all these major metro cities of the country, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, they are worst COVID-19 affected, and resumption of train services will further escalate COVID-19 number. With camera person Damodar, Ashish in Hyderabad for India Today.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has made it clear that he is not of an opinion where the lockdown should be relaxed in the red zones. Although the entire state of Maharashtra has been suffering with hardly any income for the last many months, and that is the reason why he has been asking for industries to be started in green zones, but not for the red zones. He is still saying that the lockdown should not be relaxed in these areas. But he is also requesting that the government of India should hand over the entire GST returns that have been filed. They should be given over so that the states which have not had any income in the last few months could actually gain from it and could start utilizing that capital for the work that is needed to be done in Maharashtra. With cameraman Vaibhav Kangutkar in Mumbai, Vidya for India Today.
What is Modi's big message going to be? There's always one unifying message, if you've noticed, in all of his speeches. From Jaan hai to Jahan hai to Jan se Jag tak. The Prime Minister's message in each of the 4 addresses to the nation so far has been a different one. He's steered India's coronavirus fight plan by focusing on different aspects as the pandemic has spread. Here's a look at Prime Minister Modi and his changing messages, and it should point us toward what that big message will be at 8 p.m. tonight.
Since his first address to the nation on 19th March, Prime Minister Modi's messaging on combating coronavirus seems to have been constantly evolving. In his first speech addressing coronavirus, the Prime Minister made an attempt to curb the atmosphere of fear and made a call to action to every citizen of India.
जब प्रथम विश्व युद्ध हुआ था, जब द्वितीय विश्व युद्ध हुआ था, तब भी इतने देश युद्ध से प्रभावित नहीं हुए थे जितने आज कोरोना की इस बीमारी से हैं। पिछले 2 महीने से हम निरंतर दुनिया भर से आ रहे कोरोना वायरस से जुड़ी चिंताजनक खबरें देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं।
It was also when the Prime Minister prepared India for a lockdown by declaring a voluntary Janta curfew.
22 मार्च रविवार को सुबह 7 बजे से रात 9 बजे तक सभी देशवासियों को जनता कर्फ्यू का पालन करना है.
India Today's word cloud analysis of Prime Minister's first speech showed that the focus was on people and the pandemic. The next address was 5 days later on 24th March, where the Prime Minister announced a nationwide 21-day lockdown.
पूरे देश में आज रात 12 बजे से संपूर्ण देश में संपूर्ण लॉकडाउन होने जा रहा है.
This time, the focus was clearly on combating coronavirus. The message was, "Jaan hai to jahan hai," or if there's a life, there's a world.
अगर ये 21 दिन नहीं संभले तो देश और आपका परिवार 21 साल पीछे चला जाएगा. आपको याद रखना है, जान है तो जहान है.
9 days after announcing the lockdown, the Prime Minister put out a video message. This time the focus was on boosting the morale of the nation and making the citizens realize their collective strength in these testing times.
चारों तरफ जब हर व्यक्ति एक एक दिया जलाएगा, तब प्रकाश की उस महाशक्ति का एहसास होगा जिसमें एक ही मकसद से हम सब लड़ रहे हैं, ये उजागर होगा.
The call was to light a candle or a diya at 9 p.m. for 9 minutes, but the message of fighting the coronavirus by following the rules of distancing was re-emphasized.
देशव्यापी लॉकडाउन ने आपके घर के दरवाजे पर एक लक्ष्मण रेखा खींच दी है. आपको ये याद रखना है कि घर से बाहर पड़ने वाला आपका सिर्फ एक कदम कोरोना जैसी गंभीर महामारी को आपके घर में ले आ सकता है.
18 days after imposing the strictest lockdown in the world, the Prime Minister met state chief ministers to discuss the exit plan. While the demand for lockdown extension was unanimous, this time the Prime Minister gave a new mantra. From Jaan hai Jahan hai, it was now Jaan bhi Jahan bhi, implying that the government's strategy would focus on saving lives and livelihoods. All eyes now are on Tuesday, when at 10 a.m. the Prime Minister is expected to lay out the roadmap for Lockdown 2.0. His next message to the nation was on 14th April, where the Prime Minister announced Lockdown 2.0. India was to be under lockdown for another 2 weeks till 3rd of May.
नमस्ते. सारे सुझावों को ध्यान में रखते हुए ये तय किया गया है कि भारत में लॉकडाउन को अब 3 मई तक और बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. यानी 3 मई तक हम सभी को, हर देशवासी को लॉकडाउन में ही रहना होगा.
The speech also marked a shift in India's strategy to combat coronavirus. It was now time to jumpstart the economy by easing restrictions in non-hotspot areas.
साथियों, 20 अप्रैल से चिन्हित क्षेत्रों में इस सीमित छूट का प्रावधान हमारे गरीब भाई बहनों की आजीविका को ध्यान में रखते हुए किया गया है.
Then India's lockdown has been extended for the 3rd time till 17th May. Prime Minister Modi has held 5 virtual meetings with chief ministers of states. In the latest one, held just yesterday, the big message was Jan se Jag, an effort to address the concerns of all, from people to the world. PM's 5th address to the nation is expected to lay out the roadmap for lockdown exit. The biggest question now is, What will happen after May 17? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now remember, one of the compelling factors that will shape whatever decisions the Modi government is going to take and what the Prime Minister will be announcing hopefully today at 8 p.m. is going to be how the zone picture of India has changed. Remember how it was divided into red, green and orange? You know that already. Take a look at this picture and see for yourself how things, and I showed you this picture, it's a very, very compelling image, and that's why I'm showing it to you again before the Prime Minister's message, how things have changed between May the 1st, the beginning of this month, and now. In the beginning, it started with just 130 hotspots, red zones in the country, and 319 green zones in the country. But on May the 10th, the number of orange zones has increased from 284 to 418, and the number of green zones, very disturbingly, where no cases were reported, has nosedived from 319 to 179. So this is a disturbing trend which has been seen in the last 10 days and will shape what decisions the government is going to take and what the Prime Minister will announce. I want to bring in India Today's Sahil Joshi, who's live with us from Mumbai. Sahil, Mumbai, easily the worst affected metropolitan city of the country, a complete red zone, many containment areas there. Is Mumbai and is the Mumbai government expecting any major qualitative changes in Mumbai and the rest of Maharashtra after May the 17th as per the Prime Minister tonight?
The one thing is very clear that it looks like now that the Prime Minister wants each and every state to decide what strategy should be applied in their own state, because the state knows better for their own area. Specifically, if you talk about Mumbai, the Maharashtra government is going ahead with the containment zone policy. Of course, the whole Mumbai is in the red zone as per the new policy, but there are more than 1,000 containment zones within Mumbai. So there are smaller sections which are what we can say are the red zones within the red zones.
Yes.
And that is what it is called, the containment zone. So the Maharashtra government will now have to come up with a policy that what should be, what are the things which can be open, because as you heard what Vidya was saying, that they want the economy also to function. We are in the middle of lockdown, somewhere stuck on the 6th week, whereas we have seen in the past that a place like Wuhan had completed a 11-week cycle of the lockdown, whereas in country like India, with the massive migration what we are seeing on the roads, it's very clear that even the 6 weeks lockdown has come on the livelihood of a lot of people.
Yes.
Whether that should be allowed or not is the main question at this point of time. But the state government is not yet ready to open everything for everyone, because it's very clear that the number of cases are rising. The 33% of the share of the total number of cases every day in India
yes.
are coming from Maharashtra. And if you talk about Maharashtra, more than 60% are coming from only Mumbai.
Yes,
so that is the reason why the whole Mumbai cannot be on can be working now. But of course, the state has now thinking of the post-COVID situation, how the life after the COVID will be in city like Mumbai. So that is what is the preparation is on. They have been talking to a lot of people. They have been talking to the corporates that how should we go ahead, keeping in mind that COVID is going to be there in our life, at least till the time we find a permanent solution to that. So that is what the state is thinking at this point of time. But looking at the current situation, it doesn't look like that a Mumbai and city like Pune will be opening up after 17.
So that's a realistic picture. It's unlikely that Mumbai and Pune will see any qualitative changes post May the 17th, and very unlikely to see any mention in terms of changes as far as the Prime Minister is concerned. Like Sahil rightly pointed out, the Prime Minister said yesterday, be ready for a new post-COVID world where many of the things that we've already gotten imposed on us will become a permanent part of life. I want to go across to Gopi as well, who's with us from Kerala, a state that has performed very well in terms of containing the spread after recording the first case in the country. Gopi, what are the big expectations from Kerala? Are there any specific announcements or aspects that Kerala is looking at from the Prime Minister's speech tonight?
Well, Kerala is actually now getting into its third segment or third phase of the COVID-19 battle is what we must be sensing from the ground.
Yeah.
Because 3 or 4 days back, we were having this trend that the number of cases were gradually coming down. It even reached a point when the total number of cases, the curve of the total number of cases started to flatten.
Yes.
Because if you look at the data from May 1st to May 8th, we hardly had around 8 cases. So on an average, it shows that there were just only 1 case being reported on each day.
Yes.
But now the trend have started changing once again, mostly because of the people who have started coming from abroad, and also because of the interstate borders have been open.
Exactly.
Even when we are looking at the data from today, just a short while back, Chief Minister said that there are 5 new cases which have come from Kerala. 4 of them had returned from abroad, mostly from the Gulf, as part of the Vande Bharat exercise, and 1 person is having a travel history of Chennai, or he has actually returned from Chennai. Now this is going to be a huge matter of concern for Kerala, considering the huge number of NRIs who are stuck in various parts of the world. As and when more flights started to start operating, Kerala will certainly have to step up their capacity, just like what they did during the second phase, because Kerala's strategy during the second phase was anything but phenomenal. Being somebody who has seen that on the ground, I must actually say that it has been anything but phenomenal. But it seems that now they will have to continue with that momentum, because if they let the guard down now, then Kerala is going to be one huge
Very important point that you're making, Gopi, that the momentum has to be maintained and the guard cannot be let go of. And that's one of the other reasons why, even though there are so many expectations in terms of relaxations, there has to be a realism, because India could be at a tipping point. Remember, experts believe that India's peak as far as COVID-19 cases could come in June or July. So a lot of thought has to go into making any relaxations. I'm going to go across to Poulomi in just a moment. Before that, a crucial expectation from today's speech by the Prime Minister is that he will speak to the millions of migrants who are part of one of the biggest crises that India has ever seen. They've become the visible face of suffering during this lockdown. The Prime Minister has on 2 occasions in the past spoken about migrant suffering, and we're expecting that in today's speech he might dedicate even more time talking to these millions of Indians who are suffering in the lockdown. Take a look at this report.
हालात को देखते हुए देश में ये लॉकडाउन 21 दिन का होगा।
भूखमरी आ गया सर, खाने को कुछ नहीं मिला, हम लोग बहुत परेशान हैं।
आप इस समय देश में जहां भी हैं वहीं रहे।
हम 1.5 महीने से बैठे हैं, नहीं खाने का कुछ मिल रहा है और नहीं कुछ मिल रहा है काम धंधा करने का, हम लोग क्या करें?
India's most affected citizens, their suffering endless and intense. Millions of India's migrants will be hoping that at 8 p.m. today, the Prime Minister has words of hope and words of action.
जिस दिन से लॉकडाउन लगा उसी दिन मैं वहाँ शहर में गया था। बताइए, 1.5 महीने तक मैंने किस हिसाब से काटा है, ये कोई कट नहीं सह सकता सरकार।
With the migrant crisis becoming the most visible aspect of India's lockdown, expectations are high that the Prime Minister will have a direct message to those suffering. Since the lockdown began, the Prime Minister has addressed the country's migrants twice. A more recent signal that tonight's speech will have words for India's migrants came yesterday when the Prime Minister is reported to have said, "When gripped by anxiety, people feel a strong urge to return home. This is human instinct." Will the Prime Minister reveal a bigger plan tonight for those suffering the most? Bureau Report, India Today. India Today's Poulomi Saha also tracking all developments leading up to the Prime Minister's 5th lockdown speech tonight. Poulomi, big expectations that the migrant crisis has become too big to ignore. The Prime Minister has, in one past speech as well as one Mann Ki Baat episode, addressed the issue of migrants. Are you hearing that migrants will be a large part of his speech tonight?
That's what we're hearing, in fact, Shiv, that the Prime Minister will be focusing on the migrant crisis which we're witnessing across the country. Even after the Shramik special trains have started, a lot of migrants are saying that they're not getting any sort of space on those trains, that there are too many restrictions, state governments are not responding to their requests, and hence they continue to walk on the roads, on railway tracks in order to reach their destinations, which are hundreds of kilometers away. Now, this has become a huge, crisis that the government is witnessing. And hence the Prime Minister is expected to, in fact, speak about this, touch upon this issue as well, telling migrants that, there are trains that they should, in fact, avail of what the government is allowing for right now in order to reach their destinations if that is what they desire. Now, several state chief ministers in that video conference with the Prime Minister also said that this is a double-edged sword. You cannot stop migrants from going back to their homes if that. But then again, the state governments are grappling with an increased number of cases as these migrants reach their respective states in terms of, testing them and then, of course, quarantining them in case at all they've not maintained any social distancing norms while en route to their home states. So this is something which is going to be touched upon by the Prime Minister when he speaks to the people, something which he says that the states will have expressed their apprehensions about to him and hence needs to be taken note of. And of course, very importantly, it will feature what he has obviously spoken about in his concluding remarks to the chief ministers, which is about us preparing for a post-COVID world. Like he said, this is about a post-World War-like scenario. We spoke about a post-World War scenario. Well, let's prepare for a post-COVID world as well.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's going to be an overriding message for sure. Rahul, on the issue of migrants, like Poulomi said, high expectations, easily the part of India that is most impacted and suffering during this lockdown have been the migrants, and we get a daily reminder of these heartbreaking images. What are you hearing from within the government? The Prime Minister has spoken about it twice before. Is it going to find a larger mention today?
Yes, Shiv, see, there is a crisis which is not just limited to the migrants. See, there is a wider crisis which is prevailing right now in the country. One hand is the acute suffering of the migrant laborers, which have been desperately moving back to their home and earth so that they can have a certain degree of security of food and other elements. The other crisis is that in the last set of guidelines announced by the Home Ministry, several restrictions were eased. Industrial and other economic activity was supposed to start. But the input coming from the states is, and the center, what the center has collated, is that economic activity which was supposed to have taken off hasn't really happened. Why that hasn't happened? Because now there is a shortage of laborers. You have people, diamond workers, moving away from Surat back to Ganjam district in Orissa and in Bihar. You've got workers, migrant laborers moving away from Maharashtra to other states. In that scenario, there is one problem of laborers. The second problem is of supply chain. Though restrictions are eased, supplies for production and generation of activity and revival weren't really taking off. And that is why it's a twin set problem which the Prime Minister will have to address. And that is why what the Prime Minister today decides will prepare a wider picture. That's why I will say it is not going to be, earlier it used to be about rescuing the nation from COVID-19. I think now it is going to be how to force a revival in the country while trying to rescue. That revival element has just moved up in priority compared to rescue.
Rahul, stay with me. I want to now, it's just about 2.5 hours to go for the Prime Minister's speech. And I want to refresh. I don't think any Indian has forgotten the chronology of this lockdown. We remember every single day because it was shocking to everybody. It was unprecedented and we all had to go through it together. But I want to refresh our memories because this is going to help us appreciate even better what the Prime Minister has to say 2.5 hours from now. So let's take you back to the beginning of the lockdown. The lockdown on the 28th of March of 2020, the centre allowed agricultural activities. This is just a few days after the lockdown actually began. April the 22nd, limited commercial industries were allowed to operate. I'm just recapping all the relaxations so far. 25th of April, shops selling non-essential items were allowed to operate in the non-COVID hotspots with certain restrictions. On the 1st of May, just 11 days ago, the centre began to allow liquor shops from opening in non-containment zones, and as you know, it's been happening all across the country. On the 10th of May, that's 2 days ago, the centre opened rail bookings on specific routes, and just today, those trains began to move from Delhi. Poulomi, coming back to you now, you know, the opening up of interstate travel is a very big issue. Trains have begun to move from Delhi as well. The onus has largely been on states to evolve mechanisms through which interstate travel can actually take place. But with the number of green zones actually drastically reducing in the country, Poulomi, is it feasible to expect that interstate travel will be eased up in the post-May 17th scenario?
Well, that is something that the chief ministers, when they spoke to the Prime Minister during that video conference yesterday, were completely against. There were some who categorically, like allies like Nitish Kumar, said very categorically that the idea of starting passenger trains from today was a very, very bad idea. They're not very keen on interstate movement starting at the moment. So that is going to be a little difficult for, of course, to try and convince all state chief ministers that, this is something that needs to be done, and this needs to be done in a way to ease restrictions, in a way to lift some of those restrictions and make it possible for people to move around and get back to life as was perceived to be normal in the pre-COVID era. So that is something which the government is experimenting with, something which they've done with the Ministry of Railways, announcing the resumption of passenger trains very recently, which of course started today. The announcement, when it came a couple of days ago, was quite a bit of a surprise, because it was not something which was expected so soon. Everyone was expecting a lot of announcements in the run-up to May 17th, closer to that date. So with the Ministry of Railways announcing the resumption of passenger trains,
yes,
15 pairs of trains, this is only the government trying to see if this is going to be feasible, if this is going to be possible to do, and if they will be able to still try and curtail the numbers of those infected by the virus to the least possible,
yes,
as a result of resuming train services.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.